Hello. Last time I left you with the 5 points of pure love. Some of you may have found parts of that quite challenging, but pure love is unconditional simply because it understands all the tools of human growth. Those are the tools of greed, anger and ignorance, which are within ourselves from the moment we're born, to one degree or another. Zed explains that spiritual progress is made through our growth of love and awareness. We have two things to ensure that we move in that direction. And one is the earthly mind, which is implanted with the seeds of those opposing aspects of greed, hatred and ignorance. And of course the other motivation is the universal law of karma, which we cannot escape. So, returning to those 5 points of love, if we understand that every human being is on the same journey with the same tools and the same objectives, then perhaps it would help us to accept them with love. It's a good starting point anyway. Always bear in mind, as against our tendency to judge, always bear in mind that on a higher level there is no emotion. On a higher level there are only levels of love and awareness. So emotions are within the human frame pardon me, to be used for good or for ill, depending on the choices that are made by the mind. For the mind has its own motivating force. Do you know what that is? The mind's motivation is that of desire. See now why the practice of meditation is so important. Okay, so let's look what happens, or what can happen, if the mind makes choices based on one of those 3 negative aspects. Let's imagine, for example, that we fail to intervene when we know someone is being abused. Someone or something is being abused. We may feel a bit guilty, but perhaps justify it in some way and move on. That action or non-action is now in the karmic lattice and in your individual karmic energy. And there's no escape. For karma is a universal law. It's not a law of punishment, but a law of growth. Because sooner or later, in this lifetime or another lifetime to come, you will face the same kind of situation, perhaps with you at its centre this time, and you will have to make another choice. I repeat, karma is not a punishment, but a law of spiritual growth. And perhaps next time you will base your choice on love. The universe is not haphazard. It operates within laws. The law of karma applies to not just an individual, but to groups, families, social groups, political groups, religious institutions, to whole nations, collective karma. Think of that. Here's what our teachings say. And I will offer this passage in its entirety. It's a good one. From me. Consider a ship. It sails from the port of birth on the sea of life, and its destiny is the port of awareness. The ship's engines are powered by love. Sitting at the wheel of this vast ship is a high entity who has come to experience. His mind allows him choice as to the direction he steers the ship. Many thousands are on board, and they too have been told of their destination. Round the sides of the ship are small life rafts, and each one is labelled with messages of good intent. So if the helmsman steers the wrong course, each and every one can get off the safety of the ship. But the seas are rough, those seas of life. And it takes a brave person to go overboard with one of the rafts if the ship should change into the wrong direction. But always there is choice. So it is with war. No one had to stay on that ship, heading for the port of destruction, did they? Such is group karma. The helmsman was put there by all of those on board. Did they not then share in the wrong direction? So in the world in which you live, you elect leaders from amongst you. You must then share the responsibility of what they do. Think on that. Whereas it may seem fair in your eyes to abrogate responsibility for crimes committed under such circumstances, all share such responsibility. Only those who chose the life raft were the truly enlightened ones, for no religion that represents a God of love can justify any who follow it for any reason in killing another of its own. Such religions have been used as political tools by the power seekers of the planet. And even this day, many thousands die in pursuance of a belief against the basic understanding and teachings of universal love. Does that help? Always, you see, you try to abrogate responsibility to others. It certainly does apply to this world today. Worth giving it time in your meditations. Zed sometimes used what might be called modern-day parables. I will end with this one. Many of you walk the high street of life, and each side of you see the big shops and stores, brightly lit in the grey of your lives. The shops of temptation, the shops of materialism, the main store of greed. They are important in your lives, and you are envious of those that walk into those stores to fill their arms with the material things of life. But we say to you, walk past these shops. Look not to the right or left. Look instead for the little straight on the side where the sun is breaking through the grey, and against the wall the name of this street shines. It says, Love and Awareness. Turn into that little side street, and as you do so, be not foiled by the large churches that appear to block its entrances, but walk on. And leading off from there, you'll see the little bookshop with simply Love written across the top. You will have to bend to enter, and the doorway will be old, for it has been there since man was conceived. But open the door and walk in. There on the wall will be our teachings. There, in the quietness of meditation on your own, you can consider the words. Then, when you return to the main street, the sun will follow you, and you will walk down the middle of that street, lit by the sun's rays of universal love. And from the grey surrounding you, others will wish to join that light, for it will shine brighter than the fluorescent light of the shops around. I look forward to sharing more with you next time. Goodbye.